I've spent a few days with the new Space Black M3 MacBook Pro. This thing's decked out. M3 Max, 128 gigs of RAM, and the new Space Black color is pretty neat. I was also going to spend some time with the M3 iMac. Now, when I first unboxed this device, the first thing I did after I peeled off the wrapper was to check its fingerprint resistant characteristics. So this new color, the Space Black, which is more of like a dark gray instead of a true black, has a new anodization process that makes it quite resistant to fingerprints, and it really is. I was expecting Apple to do a good job with this, but it far exceeded my expectations. First of all, the color, like I mentioned, it's not like black. So this is the space gray that was before. This is the Space Black, but this device here is a truly black laptop. This is the black Razer Blade. This is also a fingerprint resistant coating, supposedly, but if you look at what this device does, I mean, it just, right? As a live demonstration of this, I gotta do something a little bit gross. So if I rub this thing on my nose, which is the greasiest part of my face, right, it's there, but if you smudge it around, right, it's fairly gone. If I did that on the Razer Blade, so this is Razer Blade, I mean, it doesn't show it. It's more that it hides it once it's on, right? Versus this. Like, that was there, but I'm disgusting. Don't judge me. But the point I'm trying to make is that it is very fingerprint resistant, or just like smudge resistant. Now, I don't know how much of it is because of the fact that it's not a pure black color. If this was darker, I feel like it wouldn't be as good at masking those smudges. But because it's got that just dark gray color, it does a great job. Now, I did look at these materials under a microscope just because I was curious. I was wondering if that new anodization process would look different, but it doesn't. Now, I do feel kind of silly just tunnel visioning on this whole color topic. Like, you know, Apple had this team of brilliant engineers and chip designers that made this 3nm chip, and it's got 92 billion transistors, and all I'm talking about is color. But that's the thing that you notice when you, like, this is the new one, right? That's the thing that's most, I guess, tangible about this new device on the exterior. So I think some people care, so I talked about it. Okay, but I need to be very clear here. Buying a new device because of a color, I mean, you do whatever, it just makes you happy. But personally, I think that's crazy. I really do. Unless it's white and teal, that's an exception. Okay, the chip itself. So the M3 chip is fast. The M3 Max chip is very fast, and they're both energy efficient, but because the M1 and M2 products are already so darn good, it's a tough act to follow for the M3 chips. And the battery life, as good as it is, isn't improving massively year on year. Now, if you look at CPU-only workflows, there are some scenarios where I think it could be worth upgrading from like a previous generation of Apple Silicon, but it entirely depends on your budget and what your goals are. Okay, now the GPU is an entirely different story. The GPU on the base M3 is already impressive to me, but the M3 Max with its 40-core GPU, this thing is very powerful. It's faster in benchmarks, obviously it's faster in games, faster with my workflow in Adobe Premiere. Every kind of workflow that does lean on the GPU gets some nice performance bumps with the M3 products. The other thing, though, that I think is the more interesting conversation is the fact that this product, or the M3 family products, have hardware ray tracing and hardware mesh shading. Now, not a ton of apps support that stuff right now, but the Blender 4.0 beta just came out, and that does support the hardware accelerated ray tracing on the M3 chips, and just seeing a glimpse of the performance gains is very promising. This hardware has a crazy amount of potential. Now, this video is only focused on the M3 Max product and the M3 base product. I was not sent a review unit of the M3 Pro. My understanding, just based on just the paper specs, the M3 Pro product this year is segregated in a different way than it was in the past. I feel like the M3 Pro products are tuned down a little bit, maybe on purpose to kind of segregate the products a little bit better, at least for Apple's end of things. But I will be doing a future video where I compare the whole lineup. So stay tuned for that. Okay, there you have it, the M3 products that I've had.